Hiya, it's Kerry from Mobilates. We are ready for our 30 minutes of really gentle exercise, standing, sitting, lying down. And we're going to go on our backs, a little bit on our fronts today. As ever, it's really gentle. You really listen to your body and what it does and doesn't want to do today. Every day is different. And use things to help you. If you need extra cushions to get yourself comfy, get that. If you want to sit throughout, you can do that. Always ready to adapt. If you want to let me know how you're doing, anything that's really working for you, any adaptations that you enjoy, stick it in the comments. As soon as we finish this class, I always have a quick go in and check the comments. I check them later as well after I've taught another class, just to see how you're doing. Hello, Jackie, lovely to have you here. Any other regulars here today? I'll keep a lookout. Oh, there's another one. Irene, nice to have you here. Right, taking your legs a little wider. You can see I'm shifting my weight already. This just happens automatically. A lifetime of just, carrying a child or carrying a dog or just evening things out. This is the way I like to do it. And if you're in a chair, it's that wriggle from side to side. So instead of your feet, you're into your sit bones. I've just got my hands underneath so I can feel those knobbly bits, just the bottom of the pelvis, really, the sort of bumpy bits. And that's what you're trying to sit on, just getting yourself comfortable. Your legs a little bit wider just for starting. And in this position, sitting or standing, just let everything settle. Feeling things going downwards a little. You can press your feet down if you like. Give your shoulders a wriggle. And then just looking for a bit of stillness. And then breathing. Always breathing. Breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your nose, your mouth. And first, just letting things settle. So no particular sort of breath. Just paying a bit more attention to your breathing, which you probably weren't doing before. It was probably just happening. And your next breath, sending that breath maybe a little deeper, so it feels like it's going into your belly. Your belly puffs up as you breathe in. And it just falls away a little as you breathe out. And we're trying to get that fall away without the whole body going, oh, sort of melting. Easy to do. So breathing in and just waiting for that fullness feeling. I'm closing my eyes as I do this because I can just pay better attention then. And breathing out. I'm going to come to standing, same thing. Breathing in. Feeling this area swell and that gentle breath out. One more like this. Breath in. And breath out. And then opening your eyes if they have been closed. Having those little wriggles again. Bringing our feet a little bit closer. So they're around about hip width. The easiest way to tell is to look down and think, can you fit a paperback book between your feet? If you can, we're all good. Right, then we're going to grow a little taller. Place your hands on your belly today. So you're feeling that round sort of feeling between this. You see the diamond shape I've just created between my thumb and fingers? Might be pointier, might be more squashed like a triangle, it doesn't matter. You're just feeling your belly. Right, now we're going to take a breath into that. So feel it swell a little. And then as you breathe out, and you feel your belly just pull slightly away from your hands, we're just going to make this part longer. And then as you breathe in, it gets shorter. Your belly gets fuller. Breathing out, making it longer. Breathing in, just relaxing that. So this gets shorter here, and you get fuller at the front. I'm going to go into sitting, show you the same thing. So you tend to feel the belly coming forwards, maybe onto your thighs, onto that crease. And then as you lengthen is pulling back a little away from your hands, tiny bit, and maybe a little away from your legs. And then you can see it just rocks forward and back. It's a pretty small movement. Seeing how the back feels today. And then let your hands go, have a little wiggle. And we're going to place our hands on our hips. This time, we're just going to move the hips side to side. So hips, not the shoulders, not everything else, just the hips. The legs are going to join in the party though. You can see if I turn to the side, they're having a little bend to get that hip movement. If you're sitting on the chair, it's like you're trying to lift your butt up on one side and then the other, and the foot comes up a little bit. But you're trying to keep the shoulders fairly still, so just in the hips. Oh yeah, I quite like the hands behind for that. I'm just pushing into my fist for that. That feels good for the hips. Lovely. And then coming to stillness. And then we're going to take the head back. Always like to do that little tap at the back of the head, just to give it a bit of sensation. It's like you're just taking that back, like you're just about to lean against a wall, like you would on a hot day and the wall is warm with sunlight. So just that feeling of pulling back. And then we're going to tilt ear towards shoulder, then come up and then turn away on the same side. I'm just going to turn my palms upwards when I'm sitting. Feels a bit more open in the shoulders. So ear towards shoulder one side and then turn to that same side. One more. Now tilt and turn. And then we're going to go for the other side. So we're going to take ear towards shoulder this side. Back up to the center, turn away. Now, if you find this is happening, like you're getting your whole head tilt, you can always put your hands, like saying a little prayer, under your chin, and then use that as a pivot point, just for that tilt. I think we've got one more to do on this side. And let's go into some shoulder rolls. So starting one shoulder, just giving it a few rolls backwards. And then the other shoulder, give that a few rolls backwards. I'm trying to let my arms just hang down by my sides. And you might get a few clunks, you might get a few sort of snap, crackle and pops. Shoulders are complicated joints. They can make a few noises. Let's do a forwards couple. And the really beneficial thing of doing one side and then the other is if you've got different things going on with different shoulders, like one side you can't reach up very far, you can treat it differently. Now I'm going for together, but if one side and then the other was working better for you, stick with that. But now bring your breath into it. So as your shoulder or shoulders come forwards and up, breathing in. At the top, ready to breathe out. Through your mouth or through your nose. One more. And then coming down to our feet, I'm just going to pull them back slightly because then you can see my feet a little more. So giving your toes a little bit of a wriggle, just getting them up and down. I've got my toe socks on so you can even see my individual toes moving. It's not warm enough to take the socks off yet. A few months maybe. Right, next, let's go for a roll around the front of the foot. So you're trying to get around the side, the toes, the other side, under the sort of center ball of the foot area. And we'll go a few times each way. And then the same foot, I'd like you to take it back. Now, if you're standing, that is probably going to feel best because it can feel a little odd. Now, I'm just coming off and on mine. That increases the sensation. That takes it off. If you're sitting, you can either tuck your foot underneath like that. It's quite a lot of sensation in sitting because of the position of the leg. Or you can sit like a sort of side saddle position, and take the leg behind. That is gentler. The more the knee comes towards you, it gets more intense. The further back your leg goes, that's less intense. I'm giving a little wiggle side to side, and then I sort of bring it here and slide it back. So you don't want that sensation the whole time because it feels quite strong. That's it. And let's go for the other side. So we're just going around the edges, right to the pads of the toes, right to the side of the foot, and we'll go the other way as well. And you can absolutely use something that you're holding on to. And then we're going to do that same thing, putting the foot behind. Instead of being on our toes like that, we're going to go on the front of the foot. And the closer it comes in, the more weight is going through it. The further it goes back, it gets a little bit lighter. So you can lift it up and down. You can give it a roll. You can even do little circles on it. If it feels like a really new sensation to you, you might just find that's enough. And then taking both feet down, give them a little press down. And then we'll take our hands to our hips. We're going to use the hand on the hip as a sort of little breaker. This arm is reaching straight up, and then I want you to resist going over like that and concentrate more on opening up here. This is acting as our sort of resistance. Now, if your arm isn't going up there, like this, and think of your shoulder. Imagine there's a big point and it's going upwards. You've seen those shoulder pads that sort of go up like that. Imagine one of those going upwards. And the hips, we're not moving them out to the side, keeping them still for the moment. One more this way. And then let's swap to the other side. So hand on the hip, arm going straight up, and then down. Up, down. Stretching out this area, breathe into it. That big space. And one more. And now we're going to bring our heels up and down. So bringing your heels up. Take it down slowly. Oh, that was a tricky one. I just sort of slipped that one in there. Taking it down slowly. Just going like that feels a little easier than I can't even do it, than coming down super slow. And if it's really difficult on both feet, one foot, slow down. As you're coming down slow, press into the front foot. Give your feet a break. Let's take both arms up. And then let's take them out to the side and down. Scoop the air up. Press the air down. Scoop the air up, breathing in. Press the air down, breathing out. Right, bit of a combination. Scooping up the air, rising upwards, so bringing those heels up. And then pressing the air down under your arms, under your heels. Oh, that was a slow one. We're going to go again. Oh, it's slow and controlled today. Last one. Well done. If you're sitting, slide your hands on your thighs, let your waist turn, and your head is going with the body. If you're standing, take your legs wider, letting your arms sort of steer you round, but your body is moving. Now, if you're sitting, start to swish your arms around too. We're trying to be quite fluid with this. So it's a freer sort of movement because that last one was very controlled. I like to mix it up if we've done something controlled. Do something much looser. Sometimes when you're doing really controlled things, the body gets a bit tight and tense. And so it's just letting go of that. Bring yourself back to the center. But let's keep our legs wider, feet pointing outwards a little. We're going to take the arms forwards, the bum back. And I'm on a sort of hip hinge now, the legs are slightly bent. And then we're going to press the arms back, so my palms are coming back. And then I'm going to go forwards again. Now if you're doing this seated, that's the arms back, chest comes forwards. So it's like you're offering something this way and then you're pressing back the other way, and the arms staying straight, straightish. If you want to go a little lower, so we're taking almost like you're sitting on a lower seat, you can do that. That's more into a squat than a hip hinge. And the back's just staying straight throughout. So if you've got osteoporosis or osteopenia, this is nice for your back because it's not putting any extra strain on it. Strain's all going into this bit and this bit. You can take it slower on the sitting down bit. And then quicker on the standing up and pressing back. Oh, that's going low. And one more. And then we're going to keep our legs wide and go for some little teapot side bends where we do bend over this time. You're reaching one arm outwards, the other one sneaks up the side. You can, if you really like, doing those sort of squat style movements, lower yourself down, but your back stays straight, you're not tipping forwards. So if you want a little bit of extra, and on your chair, this is where I start knocking things off the chest of drawers. Last one. And then bring those legs in, starting to take your wrists outwards. We're making infinity shapes and making it bigger and bigger. And now starting to lean back and lean forwards if you're comfortable with that. Again, forgiving on the back, because we're not sort of flexing the back. We're not bending it. We're doing a little bit of extension, a little bit of lean back. And you can make this forwards and backwards movement if it's comfortable for you. Just make that a bit bigger. And if you're standing, it looks more like this. And some people like to go super low and sort of brush the floor. Some people just stay more standing, just doing that little hip hinge, sending the bottom back and forwards. I'll make this the last one. And then we're going to make our way down to the mat, down to your bed, wherever you're lying today. I'm going to move everything down there. And you might want a cushion underneath your head. Get yourself super comfy. Right, I think we have everything we need. Take your time. The first few minutes are always about getting yourself settled to a new position. It might be you like to lower yourself down onto your side and then roll onto your back, or it might be that you're more comfortable moving backwards that way and lowering yourself down. I've got a little cushion under my head. You just check where your eyes are looking. You want them looking at the ceiling. So if you're looking down that way, it's too big, whatever is behind here. If you're looking backwards, something needs to go underneath, possibly just under this bit of your neck, maybe a cushion, maybe a folded towel. But that's the easiest way to tell. And just taking your arms outwards somewhere, taking up a bit of space and just doing all those wriggles to get all the areas comfortable, your head, your shoulders, your hips, your back. Oh, lovely. Right, I'm going to place my hands on my belly again, like at the start, because we're going into pelvic tilts, but this time it's these supine lying down ones. But you can have your hands here or down by your sides, breathing into your belly though. And as you breathe out, just as before, you're lengthening your back and you feel the shape change here. It almost goes into like a tipping sort of shape. Sometimes people say scooping. So you imagine an ice cream scoop scooping a bit out of your belly. That's a bit of a weird image, but that's what I think of with scooping. And then as you breathe in, you relax that tipping sensation here. And so there might be a little space under your back, or it just doesn't feel like there's so much effort to tipping you under, or that lengthening. Now, as you're doing this, just sneak a little feel of your bottom. You want this area to feel soft and wobbly. You don't want it to feel grippy and tight. So if you feel that it does easily get grippy and tight, and it really does for some people, having your hands there, and so you can feel as you're doing that movement, you might need to do less. That's a smaller movement. If you see these creases on my top, you can see that small change, and then they release. And you might find the area where suddenly your bottom goes from relaxed to clenching or tight, that sort of feeling. So just having your hands there can help. Right, now place your hands on your thighs and just push down a little. And I can feel my head just going backwards a little. My neck is lengthening. That's exactly what I want. Now, keeping your hands here, you don't need your arms super straight. You're just keeping your hands around this place, just so you don't suddenly shrink up, because we're going to take our hips side to side, just like we did before, but this time we're doing it lying down. So there's nothing up and down. It's this little shift side to side, this little wiggle. And then you can rest that. And then we're going to go for a circular sort of feeling. So you can imagine you've got a tray with a marble and you're rolling the marble around, or you might be concentrating on the sensation you've got underneath against the mat, almost trying to draw a circle as you do this rotation, and then pause, and then taking it the other way, which is always, it's always harder. Should always start with the other way. And then completing that circle. And then we're going to start with a knee drop. So we're going to let this leg sort of fall out, controlled to the side. So just letting this leg come out to the side. This leg is still, this area, I don't want it to change. I just want it to stay where it is. Now, there's going to be a tipping point. So at this point, it feels like that wants to happen. I'm resisting it, but it's almost getting too much to resist. So that's where I'm going to bring it back. And we'll go for 2 more like that. Now, if that's okay, we could take it to a tabletop leg. If it felt like a lot of effort, keep it down here and keep going like that. If you're at the tabletop, it's the same thing. Now, it's not just the knee like that. It's the knee and the foot coming out together and then coming back. And that's heavier, so it requires more control across here. So if it feels like it's suddenly bulging outwards here, or just getting really difficult and you're almost gritting your teeth, it's too much. So take it down back to this one. Or just don't go out as far. You might just get that far and then come in. I always think I'm pushing a door with the whole of this bit of my leg, not just my knee. I'm going to open that door and close that door. So it's like there's a hinge here. Here comes my leg coming out, and then it goes back in, last one. And then take that leg down and just let both legs fall outwards. Have a little sway, let your arms go outwards. And then bring your legs back up. Let's take this knee on a sway out to the side. and seeing what it's like on this side. I'm going to have my hands back here. I really like to feel what's going on. Breathing out as that knee moves out, and in as it comes back in. And checking as you're doing this with your jaw. Could you open your mouth slightly? Is your neck super tight? Do you need to have a little wriggle in between? How did that feel? Do you want to take it up to a tabletop shape? And so you're now taking that leg out, the whole leg, not just the knee, and bringing it back out. I will say my arms in this position, the elbows act as a little bit of stability as well. So I like that. We're going to go for a couple more. And the last one. And then take that leg down, take your arms out to the sides, and just let your legs sway. You're not trying to take them particularly down to the floor or anything. You're just trying to rock and do something that feels nice. You can take your head in the opposite direction. And then come back to the center. We're going to take a leg up to the ceiling. It's like a bit of a stretch. So bringing the knee in towards your chest first, and then taking that leg long, in, long, in, long. And start to bring the toes towards you. So it's like you're sending the sole of your foot up towards the ceiling or somewhere close-ish. It might be going like that. It might be you're further in than me and your leg is straightening. Might be your leg's not straightening. It doesn't matter. And then we're going to hold it up and just draw some little circles. We're not going over the midline. If you've had a hip replacement, definitely normally recommended not to go over your sort of center line. So we can take it to the center and outwards. We're going to go the other way. Now, if it's very wobbly, take these arms out. I think my plate is like a bigger than a dinner plate, smaller than a dustbin. And then take that leg down. Give the legs a little sway. We're going to go on the side. So first, this leg's coming in, the knee's coming in, and then I'm straightening it out. In. It's a bit like you're trying to push a pedal, or you're pushing a spade into the ground. You can see my toes are coming towards me more now. And then I'm going to take that leg up as high as I can. You can always have hand there to help it. If you have a resistance band, you can put that around your sole of your foot as well. So I'm just giving little circles. Keeping this leg as straight as you can go, but it might be like this. That's okay. It might be like that. It might be super straight. And T arms like that will give you a bit more support. Let's take it the other direction. Breathing throughout, that would be lovely. And then bring that leg down and just stretch the legs long for a moment. Let's give the feet some mobility. So just starting to draw shapes with your feet. You might be trying to do circles. You might be doing zigzags. Pointing, lengthening, bringing them back towards you, all those things, all the directions, and then bend your knees. We're going to roll briefly onto our fronts. Now, you don't need a cushion under your head for this, but you might want it under here, under sort of the groin area. And if you have a really tight lower back, bigger cushion. So you can be really on quite like, I've used those cushions over there before when I've had tightness in my lower back. Maybe you don't need a cushion if you haven't got tightness. So we're going forehead down, arms out to the side, sort of like a goalpost shape or a capital H, top of a capital H. Stretch the legs away first, so think
Right, someone's pulling that leg. I'm going to take it downwards. Someone's pulling the other leg, and they're going to keep their hands on your legs as if they're going to just keep that length on them. So they're not going to do that and flop. They're staying long and active. So if someone touched them, they think, oh yeah, your legs are working. Okay, take a breath in. As you breathe out, roll your shoulders back and just lift your forehead off the floor first. Keep your forehead as if your eyes are there, eyes are looking down at the mat. And then it's like we're trying to unpeel our chest from the floor. Slowly does it. And then come down. Now lift your arms up. Now lift your forehead up. Unpeel your chest. Coming up. The view is just your bed, the mat, the floor, and then down and lift your arms up. Now take your arm, let's have just one arm out to the side. Lift that arm up. Lift that arm up. Turn the thumb up towards the ceiling. Like you're giving me a thumbs up. Turn it back down. Bring that arm in. Back into this goalpost. Let's give the bum a little wiggle side to side just to ease off, and then long legs again. Now we're going to take this arm upwards in that half goalpost shape. Then we're going to take the arm out to the side, so it's like a half a T shape, lifting that one up a couple of times. Next time it goes up, we're going to give it the thumbs up. And then turn your palm down, thumbs up, down, and then bring your hands, place them under your forehead, give your bum a wiggle from side to side. And then I'm going to give you two options depending on your knees. If your knees are comfortable to, push yourself back to this position, and we're going to go into cat-cow. That's cat-cow when you're puffing yourself up like a scaredy cat, and then lowering down and sticking your bum out. Now, if your knees, you're thinking, no chance, let's go back then. So let's go back to where we were. Roll onto your back. And then from here, the cat-cow equivalent is a pelvic curl, maybe a little higher, like a little tilt. So just the tilt that we just did, but then lifting a little higher and then lowering down. Lifting a little higher and lowering down. So one more, whichever you're doing. And then we're going to take it to a seated position. And if you can, I'd like you to sit to one side like that. Now your legs might be more sort of L-shaped. They might be more tucked in like that. That's what mine like to do. I can bring them out a little bit if it starts to get quite uncomfortable. You might think, no, there's no way that's happening. Otherwise, it might be like this or like this. So I'll keep showing all the different options. So if you're sat like this, I'd like you to grab hold of either your ankle or your leg. And we're going to arc over this way, keeping your bum on the floor. So you reach up high and then a little bit over and then come back. If you're like this, place your hand under your leg. That's your arc over. And if you're like this, hand under your leg and like that. Last one. And then we're going to change the legs over. So place your hands backwards, let your legs come up and let them roll the other way. I'm going to have to bring mine over to the camera because it's not the best angle. So you're now in this position. I've got a bit more space on this side to sit like this. Grabbing your foot over here, taking that side bend over and then coming up tall. It could look like this, grabbing the leg, or this, or this. Last one. and then just sitting comfortably. So you might be you bring your legs forwards, might be you sit cross-legged. We're going to take our palms outwards and scoop up the air. Breathing in, your hands are coming in front of you, high up or low down, it doesn't matter. Bring them into your chest. Give yourselves a clap, you're all done. Another session done. I'll be back again next week. Namaste, Irene. Thank you to all of you with us live. And if you're catching up, I hope you enjoy it. I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.